ever Olympic Esports Week. We're coming to you live from the Suntec Convention Centre Arena in Singapore. Yes, the images you're seeing on your screen are of the beautiful country of Singapore, where we'll be showcasing the best of virtual sport. We've got competitors from around the world coming here to compete across 15 different sports over 3 days. Now, a quick breakdown of what you can expect. We've got 10 trophy sports and games and 5 exhibition events as well across other games. So great to have you join us. Now, to kick it all off, we're starting with the cycling, as you may have just seen. A week or months of qualifiers have culminated to today, and to help us get into all the nitty-gritty when it comes to cycling and our competition, we've got some experts with us. We've got Hannah Walker and Rob Hatch. Guys, great to have you with us. The atmosphere is building in here. What does it mean for the world of cycling to be a part of the first ever Olympic Esports Week?
Well, it's a groundbreaking day, isn't it, for esports and for cycling? A very first, as you say. I think there's a lot of excited riders, gamers out there.
And Hannah, what about you? What do you feel the competitors will be feeling today?
It's excitement, it's anticipation. This is a huge momentous moment. This is 16 of the best esports riders in the world across 4 teams, 8 women, 8 men. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, and the atmosphere in here is so exciting.
Right, so our competitors will be competing in a game called Zwift, so let's see what it's all about.
Zwift is a virtual world for cyclists. It's an indoor cycling app where you can explore, train, and compete, connecting with thousands of other riders all over the planet.
No, I can't.
Anyone can join using an indoor trainer connected to your bike at home, which translates your power into in-game speed. Ride over mountain tops, through Pristine Valley, or in New York, Paris, or London. Find what works for you in a world of endless roads. Connect with friends from a group ride. Complete a World Cup ride in solo, or take on a race anytime, day or night. There's something for every type of cyclists, and Zwift makes getting faster and fitter much more fun.
Right, so our competitors are used to competing at home. Slightly different format here because they will be competing in front of a packed crowd in Singapore. Rob, could you just talk us through the course that we'll expect to see them compete on today?
Well, of course, we're physically here in Singapore, aren't we? But thanks to the magic of Zwift and its virtual world, we're actually going to be in Scotland, believe it or not. That's our link with in real life cycling today, because that's where the World Road Championships, organised by the UCI, the world governing body, are going to be held this year. We begin with the longest of the 3 races today, 13.3 kilometres long, along a course called the Wigan. It combines the Sker climb alongside a Glasgow city circuit. Talk more about the race in a while, but it's 13.3 kilometres and 198 metres of climbing. After that, the sprint, and as the name suggests, it's short, sharp and very fast. Time for pure power and a need for speed. 3.2 kilometres long, 34 metres of climbing, basically around the city of Glasgow itself. That's the one being outlined in yellow right now for you. The teams will be taking it on, and after an intermediate sprint, the points will be taken on the finish line. To finish up today, the 3rd and final event, well, it's a bit like riding to the shops, isn't it? It's shorter than a ride to the shops, maybe. 2.7 kilometres long. Uphill, though, 63 metres. And the difference is we're racing here. Pure power, plenty in the legs. First to the top takes all of the glory in the climb.
Right, so 3 different courses there for our riders. They're going to need to employ different skills across those races. I'm excited to see what you guys think about that in a bit. But we've spoken about the format, we've spoken about the course there. I think it's only right we started to meet some of our riders. So a couple of them were lucky enough to go ahead and meet or go down to one of the biggest attractions here in Singapore.
Hi, I'm Ben Hill from Australia.
Hi, I'm Lou Bates from the United Kingdom.
We're happy to be here for the first Olympic Esports Series 2023 cycling competition.
We are here at the Singapore Flyer. We are super excited. Let's go. So I've probably been playing about 3 years. Started in one of the British winters when the weather was not very good for cycling outside. I guess over the winter it kind of kept me entertained, kept me in contact with people that I ride with, and yeah, you meet people, you socialise as well as riding, train together, so yeah, I just found it really fun.
I started, it was like 2016-ish, it was a long time ago, and I broke my collarbone, so it was like an injury rehabilitation. I could ride indoors. By the time my collarbone had recovered, The first session, I'm like, I could probably go outside. I stayed indoors because I just loved it so much. I was like, this is actually really cool, and I was getting involved in the racing. There's so many different formats, and to be like, you have to be quite a versatile cyclist to do well, and just like adapting to, as the platform grows, you need to keep adapting to what kind of athlete you need to do to stay competitive. So it's like, it's difficult to keep up with it, how fast it's growing.
Although we haven't met each other in real life, we know what kind of riders we are. So we kind of know each other's strengths and weaknesses, but it's kind of how, as a team now, you know, certainly I'll be racing with another girl, so how do we race against the other teams and try and get as many points as we can? That's the beauty of esports, is that you can meet people from, you know, the other side of the world and, you know, train together, race together. We've all got these like avatars on the screen that we, I guess, have in our brains as being that person, and then actually seeing the actual face is quite cool.
And you sort of derive a personality from the way they race, which can be totally different to how they are as an actual person. So to meet them is like, you can have a totally different perspective on who they are.
Hear from Lou and Ben there. Hannah, we heard about them knowing each other's avatars, but have these riders actually met each other prior to today?
Interestingly, while some of these riders are teammates in their esports teams, they've never met each other. They're from all different parts of the world, so this has been the first opportunity for most of these riders to meet each other in-game. They'll of course know a lot about each other's, their attributes, what their strengths and weaknesses are, but it's really interesting that this is the first time, and they've got to try and form a bond within their teams as well, because of course they need to become one unit.
So not only have they got the challenge of trying to build this bond, but they've got to have stage fright, I guess, as well to get over, because they are here in front of a packed house in Singapore. How do you think they're going to handle that?
Depends on everybody's personality, doesn't it, and what they're used to before. We've got riders here who come from triathlete backgrounds, from road cycling backgrounds, people who've only ridden on esports before. Some people are used to racing in front of crowds, be it on a mountain in a packed city centre. Some may be out in the hills on a mountain bike somewhere. This is very different though. We've got a lot of people sat in the arena. The noise is different, the speakers are loud, the spotlights are on you. This is a unique experience for everybody involved, I think.
So talking about unique experiences, those courses look pretty unique too. So as you mentioned, we are in Singapore, but they'll be riding through Scotland, the home of the World Championships this year. What kind of skill set are they going to need to employ for each of those 3 different courses?
It's very, very different. As Rob mentioned earlier on, we've got the eliminator, so that's all 8 riders, 8 females, 8 males in the 2 different races. But it all comes down to skill, tactical ability. It's not just about that physical ability. You really need to deploy those different tactics. Then, of course, for the sprint race, it's short, sharp, punchy, it's intensity. And then for the climb, it's all about that power to weight, so those who really thrive on the mountains. So it's a really unique prospect. We're going to have some compelling racing, and it's very exciting. This new format as well.
And I think probably the glaringly obvious question for people at home is, this is esports, but they're so physical.
Well, you've got the gamification aspect, haven't you? Because
Yeah.
you've got power-ups, little bits of help that Hannah will explain as we go through the day. But we've also got the fact that you can see people putting out the watts, the pure power, looking across. You can see the pain you're inflicting on the other riders if you're going faster than them as well. It's a very unique set of circumstances. I repeat, this is an historic world first. Everybody here is managing to compete, we'll see that, and everybody watching, wherever you're watching, they're going to see something you've never seen before.
Yeah, and it's happening at the first Olympic Esports Week. As Rob said there, it is an historic event, and we're so excited to have you joining us for this. So in a moment, we will be meeting our riders, so stay tuned. welcome to the first ever Olympic Esports Week. We're coming to you live from the Suntec Convention Centre Arena in Singapore. We're getting ready to kick off with our first event, the cycling. We'll be meeting our riders in just a moment, but joining us on the desk to break down Zwift, the game that they'll be playing, and all the ins and outs of the virtual cycling is Hannah and Rob. Could you please just talk to us about the race format we can expect today?
Of course, we've got 4 teams of 4 riders. You can see that there's 6 events in total. That means 3 races, 1 each for the women and men. Different events, different races, different skill sets as well. All colour-coded, the teams with 4 different names too, so we know who's who on the stage. This is the best of the best in the world of cycling esports right now, competing on longer races, shorter races, and to finish up, we've got a hill climb too.
So it's the best of the best. I think we should talk about our teams briefly, Hannah. What can you tell us?
We certainly should. Well, Jackie Godby, she heads up the team in blue. That's Team Epic, a UCI Esports World Bronze medalist. With the team in green, that's Team Titans, former professional road cyclist and World Cup winner Vicky Whitelaw. Then we head to Team Fuego in the yellow. Then we head to the final team, Team Lava, who'll be in the red jerseys. Lionel Viarsin, one of the most experienced esports riders in the world, heads up his team in red.
I like that, Hannah. You've given us an eye on who to potentially watch coming up. I'm sure there'll be other key riders as well. The countdown is coming to meet our riders. What do you think will be going through their mind very quickly?
Oof. Are they nervous? Are they nervous? Do they know the importance of the situation? Do you know what? I think they just want to have some fun out there.
Right, so fun they will have. Let's meet our riders in the first event at the Olympic Esports event.
Let's welcome the players. Let's bring them on. From Team Epic, Jackie Godby from USA. From Australia, Ben Hill. Let's bring them on. From Great Britain, Charlotte Colclough. From Poland, Mikhail Kaminski. Let's bring them on. Let's give it up for Team Epic. Next, let's welcome Team Titans. From Australia, Vicky Whitelaw. Let's bring them on. From Belgium, Kill Power. Let's bring them on. Let's bring them on. From Sweden, Lisa Hermansen. From USA, Zach Bear. Let's bring them on. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Team Titans. Next, let's welcome Team Fuego from Sweden, Marlene Bjerrehead. Let's bring them on. Let's bring them on. From South Africa, James Barnes. From Great Britain, Lou Bates. Let's bring them on. From Germany, Martin Mertens. Let's bring them on. Big round of applause for Team Fuego. Let's bring them on. Next, let's welcome Team Lava from Hong Kong, Lam Kong. Texas, Lethbridge. From Belgium, Lino Vujacic. Let's bring this on. Let's give it up for Team Lava. Move on to something new. Let's bring them on. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up one more time for your players. Right on.
So the stage is set. We're starting to see some of the character and personality of our riders, some smiles, some fist pumps. Lionel, who you mentioned earlier, was there trying to get the crowd behind him. It looks like these guys are ready to perform.
You can really feel the energy coming out of these riders, but also you can already see the camaraderie within the teams. They're a really strong unit already. They've got that bond. They believe in each other. They have the trust within each other. And you can really start to see those personalities come out from these riders. They're really motivated for this. They know that it's a huge moment. It's a historic moment. This is a momentous moment for these riders.
So we are seeing them warm up at the moment. Rob, could you talk us through the equipment they're using? Again, we talk about esports, but this looks really high tech.
It certainly is. We didn't expect anything less, did we? Come on. Right, they're all riding the same Bridgestone bikes in the virtual world, okay? Here on stage, they're riding stationary watt bikes. They're all connected to power meters. They're wearing chest straps, which will give us the heart rate. We'll see their speed, their cadence, so how many revs they're pedaling a minute, and all of that feeds into the physics of the game. It interacts with the game. It tells us how fast they're going. Do you know what? Yesterday, it's not a boxing match, is it, this? But there was even a weigh-in. They all went to be measured and weighed because all of that, Hannah, does play into how everything's calculated and how we go.
It does, and it's all those physics in-game, so it meant that once they'd done the weigh-in, they couldn't access their account again. It was all locked.
Okay, so it was all locked, as is the race schedule. So Hannah, could you just talk us through what we can expect? Because there are 3 different courses.
We've got the Eliminator up first for the women. It's 13.3 kilometers long. That leads us into the men's Eliminator. All 8 riders will be taking part in that, male and female. Then the 4 riders will be taking part in the sprint, so 1 rider from each team in both the men's and women's. That's 3.3 kilometers long. And then the final is the climb, just over 2 kilometers, and that is really for those who are the best climbers within their team. They'll do 2 of the 3 races, and the map that they'll race in is really built specifically for racing.
It certainly is. Well, we begin with the Eliminator. You can see it's called the Wii, and we've even got a Scottish name for it as well. It's 13.3 kilometers long, 198 meters of climbing. So that is the vertical elevation. So going up, as much climbing they have to do over those 13.3 kilometers. The legs are important here, but because we've got everybody and they're sprinting to arches to make sure they're not the last through each arch, tactics are really important, and when to use the power in those legs as well.
So tactics are important, but have they actually ridden this course before, or is this new to all of them?
I'm not sure. I know that it's a mixture of 2 different courses, this, isn't it?
They will have raced this course before, so they'll know that first climb you just saw there, the Sker Summit. They'll do the Sker Summit South, then it will go around a roundabout, up the Sker Summit North, back up the Sker Summit South, and then we'll be on to that course in Glasgow. So they'll know it very well, and of course they would have known the courses coming into this, so they would have been at home practicing, making sure they know every inch of this course. And as Rob said, it's not just about that physical ability, but tactically, you've got to be really smart to make sure that you're not eliminated. The big points come for the winner of the elimination. 8 points for the winner.
So really and truly, in this first race, we could see someone break away and take a lead going into the final 2 races of this final here.
We certainly could. Tactics, as you say, are important if you want to get up the road, if you can. Make everybody chase you. We see that in road racing, we see it here in esports too. And I think what you're going to see, first of 15 events that we've got, we're groundbreaking, as I said, here in cycling. You're going to see how esports also interacts with in real life cycling as well, because we have elements from the gamification. We talked about the power-ups, little bits of help, going for those in-game elements, but also what we see in road cycling, cyclocross, mountain biking. It's a fantastic blend, this, on the Zwift platform, that we see people performing every day, tens of thousands of people online at once, millions of people are members of Zwift, but the best of the best, cream of the crop are here, and we're going to see them fighting it out against each other for a title.
They're fighting for a title. They've got just under a minute and a half before it begins. The atmosphere here is starting to get very tense. We've got a packed out crowd here for the first event of the Olympic Esports Week. What a few days we've got coming up. And the pressure as well to kick it all off. Not only are these players in front of a crowd, something they've never done before, but they're opening up what is an historic event.
It's a lot of pressure, but I think it comes with that excitement. And I think where we saw the energy from the riders and when they came out onto stage, this is a huge moment. So I think when you've got the support like we've got here in the arena, it's that added extra layer of motivation. And you're talking of those power-ups, we've got two. It's a 50-50 chance. It all comes at random. You can get them at the first two races, the eliminator and the sprint. When you go through those arches, we've got an option of the feather, which reduces your weight by 10%. That lasts for 30 seconds. The other option is the aero power-up. So it makes you more aerodynamic, reduces your CDA by 25%, and that lasts for 15 seconds. But it all is the tactical element of when to use those power-ups.
Wow, okay, so those power-ups are going to play such a crucial role. Not only is it tactics and how they actually race, but when to use the gamification of what makes this a virtual sport as well. What a setup we've got. Less than 10 seconds to go until it all kicks off for our first event at the Olympic Esports Week. Rob, take over, please.
Here we go then. Off we go to the start, and you can see the riders in the red. Remember, they are representing Team Lava here. We've got the riders in the green, Titans. There is Whitelaw there at the back. You can see her just highlighted for us. Riders in the blue representing Team Epic. And also on your screen, Lou Bates, Lam Kong, we are seeing Hannah, pain faces straight away. And already, as we're off, 30 seconds into the race, looking around beautiful Scotland, there are 13.1 kilometres to go, and we're waiting to see if we're going to get that first move.
You can already see the focus, that determination on the faces of these riders. A little bit of discussion there with Jackie Godby in the blue jersey. She's really motivated for this. She's a bronze medalist in the UCI Esports World Championship, so really got that caliber within Team Epic there in the blue jersey.
Well, it's Bates at the front. Her teammate Björn ahead of Sweden, just at the back, moving up now. Remember, not completely flat at all, this course. We go up the climb first, so the climbing comes first before we get back to Glasgow and the sprint itself.
The pressure's really on. So as we see that 4 riders will be selected for the climb in the third and final race today, they'll really thrive in this opening part of the eliminator here, because we have 3 climbs to take on, Rob.
And this is what we can see. One of those climbers, one of those riders who can get up the road. You can see Cole Clough making the first move. Look at the power she's putting through the pedals. It's on the screen, 312 watts. Heart rate right up at 177 beats per minute as well. And pedaling that big gear, the cadence below 80.
It is, but she's keeping a really nice, steady cadence there. And Charlotte Colclough, she's a consistent rider throughout, and she really knows how to pace herself. She's raced for many, many years, not just in esports, but in the real world as well. So she's got that caliber, she's got that knowledge. You can see Lou Bates here. She's a former national hill climb champion, so Bates will really want to try and take things on. And you can see she's already deployed her feather power up here. This will last for 30 seconds, and she's utilising this perfectly.
First serious move of the race then. First serious move of the Olympic Esports Week 2023, and it has been made by Lou Bates, who's out there. Her teammate is also using the same tactic. The paddle has been deployed there. They're through the first arch, and this is very, very interesting indeed.
It was close at the line there for that first elimination, Rob.
Very, very close. We can see at the minute that 7 riders still remain here. Down the hill first off. Lam is at the back, just moving up as Cole Clough, and it's important every time we go through one of those arches that you are not at the end. Looks as though we only had 7 starters in the end, so the first elimination, I think we've had everybody just about surviving.
Yeah, he's got only 7 on the right-hand side there. Kong just at the front in the red jersey. This is the double national champion of Hong Kong in the time trial and road race, and you can see just the effort that has been put in on that first descent there.
Effort in there, 3 minutes into the race, 2 kilometres down. Downhill we go here through, this isn't one of the arches, just one of the outcrops of rock you can see going up this climb in Scotland. A wonderful mixture of there, the IRL, the in real life on the right hand side, the game on the left hand side. What they're doing on the right translates to what we see on the left. Road surface not amazing here either, is it?
It's not. You've got that paved section on the Skurs Summit South, and then as you descend the north, this is the climb that they will take on. You're onto the gravel. You can see the dust start to kick up over that bridge into the beautiful countryside of Scotland here.
5% gradient downhill, so getting quite a lot of help. Fast speeds down here.
And this is a moment where the riders can get some respite on this descent here, because once they get to a certain speed and you're over that 50 kilometre per hour, you get that free wheel. You can utilise the free speed on that descent, save some energy, get your breath back, just reset, get that focus, keep calm.
And you can see some riders who are trying to stay in the middle of the pack, stay to the back. Why is that, Hannah? Do they get a bit of assistance?
They do, they do. So it's important that once you're in that pack, you can actually utilise the draft within the game here. So it's just like in real life cycling. When you're in the wheel of another rider within that peloton, within the bunch, you can keep that draft, you can save energy, and it's all that important energy that you'll need for each elimination.
Innovation, technology, and real racing. It's all here together in Singapore as we're almost 5 minutes into this. 3.5 kilometres into the race, just less than 10 Ks remain now. And we are still climbing. Gradient up and down slightly. We went over a little bit of a lip there, and you can see top right hand side of the screen. That's where it tells you where it's ramping up. 4%, and we change colour when it gets harder as well. It'll go into the yellow, into the orange. If we get really steep, it will go red.
It certainly will, and when you start to see those red gradients, expect to see the climbers, the likes of Lou Bates, Miali and Barhead, really start to ramp things up.
Almost 400 watts here. I can tell you, if you don't know what the watts translate, it's a lot. They are putting out pure power. In the meantime, Lam is just starting to lose the wheel at the back. Needs to make sure that she gets back onto the group. Makes an effort there, is back into the group, and that's good news.
You can just see that she's made one big effort, as opposed to keeping things calm and gradually making her way back to that group. It was one big effort, put the power down, close that gap, which... in turn, this is where the experience comes in, the tactical ability to know how to ride on this.
Lam, who is a YouTuber back in Hong Kong, encourages people to get into cycling, PE teacher who really fell in love with the sport and has become one of the world's best athletes in esports as well. She's moved up now, and it's Godby from the USA, a reigning 2-time national US champion in esports, who moves through the groups to the front. And she's gone right from the back to the front here. It's her turn to do the work to keep this group working. And until they see that next arch, I don't think we will see any huge efforts right now. It's tense, sits tight, let's have a look. Those not riding are cheering on the athletes. Of course, we're starting with the women here. Lam now has just lost the pace a little bit and is using her power up, Hannah, to try and keep in touch with the group. This is an important moment now, because the road's opening up. She is losing it, and she stands to be eliminated unless she can really make contact here.
And you can just see the effort that Kong is putting in there, utilising that power up. She was distanced one time, she's distanced on a second time. She's trying to get her way and claw her way back to this group of 6.
Right front of the race was just on the right-hand side of your picture, but look at the pain face here. Translates to what it means on the left-hand side. She's leaving everything out there on the road, but it looks as though Lam, unless there's a miracle recovery, is going to be eliminated.
And you can just see the encouragement she's getting from Teppo Lorio, her teammate there, the Finnish rider, who's just encouraging her to try and come back.
Just look around the corner, Hannah, because we're coming up to our next arch, and Lam needs to get back into this group, otherwise she will be out of the race and will be taking 2 points for her team. Of course, more points for those who survive to the end and win the final sprint. Here is Lam coming around the corner. The rest going to go under the arch, but 20 seconds back, Lam is now going to be eliminated after 8 minutes almost of racing. There we go. So down to 6.
Down to 6 riders. Lou Bates in the yellow. Mjali Bjarhed, a teammate just alongside her, still left in this group. Vicky Whitelaw, Lethbridge, Godby, Colclough. We've got a really fascinating group of riders, and the more the group starts to whittle down, the more eliminations we see. I think the more tactical game that we'll start to see these riders really deploy.
Only one red jersey left in there after Lamb's elimination. That, of course, belongs to Lethbridge. Team Lava, well, not a big eruption this morning yet. They need to see if they can win. We will see if those fireworks are going to go off at the end when they get back to Glasgow. Maybe a minute's respite here before the next big effort comes. You can see the power numbers have dropped a little now. They're looking around at each other.
And again, another opportunity for the riders to take some respite. This is a fast downhill section over the other side of the Skurs Summit South. You can saw the gradient there, -9%. So you've got to utilise the recovery where possible, but also try and keep that speed.
Well, this is a sport that's gone from strength to strength, hasn't it? It might not look it on the right-hand side, but it is fun, I promise. It looks painful at the minute.
This is a real racing course, though. This map was built for racing, and it provides the action. It provides really compelling racing that we see. Lethbridge at the back in the red jersey at the moment. 2 riders from Team Epic just gathering themselves up towards the front, as are the team of Fuego in the yellow. 1 rider remains of the team of Titans. That's Vicky Whitelaw, the former professional cyclist. She's a big winner. She's a prolific winner on the road. Has raced for many, many years, raced in the Giro Donne over in Italy, winning stages there, winning stages in the early edition of the Tour de France back in the 2000s. So she knows what it takes to win.
A Grand Tour stage winner in France and Italy. That's the biggest thing you can do in road cycling. She's here in Esports, dedicated for more than a decade now to this modality. The Australian champion too, and racing in the Premier League right now with the Ionian women's racing team. A nervous look round Ben Hill, who's not competing at the minute, but he's got his eyes fixed on his teammate Jackie Godby there. Power being put off. You can see that Colclough comes to the front, another member of that blue-clad Team Epic team. 10 minutes of racing. Halfway through here, Hannah.
We are halfway through with the riders. You start to see Godby just losing the wheel ever so slightly here. You're getting some encouragement from Ben Hill. He's really given her that motivation to get back. And you can see the way that she gets herself back. It's efficient. She's not wasting energy.
Moves again at the front. Remember, we've seen a twin attack already in this race from Bates and Bjarhed. They look strong, they've shown strong, but it's important about being strong as the power-ups are deployed everywhere here.
You can see the flurry of power-ups. We've got 4 feather power-ups which are being deployed, making those riders lighter. The 2 riders with the aero power-up, making them more aerodynamic. And this is what it takes to be able to sprint to make sure that you're not eliminated at each of the archways.
Of course, if other riders are using power-ups, you're going to need to work harder to get with them. Look at Bates go here. She is flying off the front. Bjarhed in there as well at the back. It looks like Whitelaw maybe the one to go. I think it is.
You just saw Whitelaw start to be caught out there, and just look at the distance that immediately starts to open up over the top of that arch.
Remember, last rider through each arch is eliminated, out, off to sit down. No more racing in this, the first of 3 races.
Bates really wants to put the pressure on the riders who are remaining, who she knows have a really good sprint in comparison to Lou Bates. Lou Bates knows that she's a pure climber. She knows that she needs to put some, tire the faster riders out, the likes of Jackie Godby, because she knows that take Jackie Godby to a finish, and it's going to be incredibly difficult to beat the rider from the USA.
First trophy of this weekend is up for grabs on the trophy stage right now. There's nervous faces, there's pain faces. There will be some fun, excited, celebratory faces later on. But this is the hard work that's being put in with 5 kilometers to go. Again, the pace is starting to be up now as you start to go ever so slightly downhill again. It's Godby at the front in the blue, Bates in the yellow alongside a Colclough. Teammate of Godby comes to the front and does a bit of a turn now. Lethbridge is the only rider left in red. Remember, no riders in green are left. 3 points was taken by Whitelaw there. Around the corner we come, and we're on our way back into the city. Glasgow is on the horizon.
Once we get into the city centre circuit, this is where it really starts to suit Jackie Godby. Tactically, she's one of the best within this group. She's got a big engine, she's got the big power, she's got a great sprint. Bjarhead and Bates, they're able to work together. You can see that James Barnes is giving some encouragement to his teammate Bjarhead on the stage.
Bjarhead has come from Sweden. She starred in esports races all around Scandinavia. She's racing with the Movistar E-team, off the bike as well. A PhD in educational studies. Can she teach them a lesson though, Hannah?
She certainly can, she certainly can. We've seen that she's been very, very patient and leaving it up to her teammate Bates to really try and do the damage, put some fatigue into the legs of their opponents today.
2 more riders to eliminate before we go to our final 3-rider finish sprint. That's how the final points will be dished out today. You see that the buildings are starting to appear in the background in virtual Glasgow. Venue this year for the In Real Life World Championships that'll take place in August. The River Clyde comes into view. 5 riders see it on the right-hand side, but there's no sign for sightseeing here. It's 14 minutes into the race. We're now approaching the final 3.5 kilometres to go, and it's attack time. Bjarhead on the move on the streets of Glasgow. Look at that upping in pace and the encouragement she's getting from those alongside.
You can just see Lou Bates knows that she can try and take an opportunity to try and break this group up. She wants to try and go long here and go for the victory. And Lou Bates knows that with the Clyde kicker coming up, this is a short, sharp, punchy climb where it really plays into the forte of the rider from the UK. At the moment, Bjarhead can just sit back, wait patiently and follow the moves. Lethbridge, she's in all sorts of pain at the moment. She's trying to claw this one back because she knows she's the only rider left from Team Lava here.
Clyde kicker time then, the arches are approaching. Big effort from Bates in the centre of your screen there. It's a look around and it's pain, pain, pain for Lethbridge at the back. Coldclough's there too, and I think it might be Coldclough who's in a bit of trouble here. There she goes, there she goes. Coldclough is eliminated, next to go. Good effort, not enough to take the big point. She's taken 4, now 5, 6, 7 and 8 for the order of finishes, but we've 1 rider still to eliminate before we get to a final 3-up sprint. Bates, though, still at the front on the road, Hannah.
Bates has a 2-second advantage at the moment over the other riders within this group. The next elimination and the final elimination on the road that we'll see, that'll come at the champion sprint. Only just over 1 kilometre to go until the finish. So you can see here, Bjarhead at the front, she's not going to pull. She's not going to do any riding at the front to assist Lethbridge or Godby in this group. Still Bates with a 2.2 second advantage here, and she's looking confident. You can see she's really settled into her rhythm here. Onto that descent, they'll make this right-hand turn as they head back towards the centre.
Well, Bates is a really strong endurance athlete. Remember, came from other sports as well. She's been rowing, triathlon as well. Can keep an effort going. That gap now is still at 2 seconds, and there's a lot of pressure here on the 1 rider who's left in the race from her team. You can see behind the team yellow, Fuego, they're looking good. They've still got 2 riders left here, but there's a lot of pressure there on Lethbridge, who's the only rider left in red. She needs bigger points than the 5 on offer here.
She certainly does, and it's all about leaving it out on the road now, because you can see Godby, you start to see all of the riders really starting to tire fatigue. It's the body starts to overheat. You've got the fans in front of the riders to keep them as cool as possible, and at the moment Bjarhead can just sit and wait patiently. Lethbridge in the red, there is Godby and the blue jersey of Team Epic, and Lou Bates, Rob, she's been working on this real explosive power that we're seeing here.
Aero power-ups have just been deployed. Time to go faster on the flat, and that's exactly what they're doing. Godby under the same pressure as Lethbridge that I was just talking about. But look at this. This is a perfect 1-2 through the next sprint again. And we know who our leaders are already going to be after the first event, despite what's happened there. It is Team Fuego who take the 2. It's Lethbridge, and it's the Lava team, who are not erupting yet.
Tactical perfection from Team Fuego there. You saw the way that Marlene Bjarhead just deployed her power-up, the aero power-up, to make sure she wasn't eliminated at that final elimination of the champion sprint. She eliminated Alice Lethbridge, and you saw the celebration there from Martin Martins.
So 3 riders at the front together, 2 teammates. Can they work together tactically and work them over? There's 1 kilometre to go. Final kilometre. We're under the Flamme Rouge. It's Jackie Godby against the world here.
Well, she's been in this position before on this very circuit, a bronze medalist in Glasgow at the Esports World Championships in February. She knows how to be able to take on this sprint, but at the moment, how can she break the team of Fuego? It's 2 against 1. Godby finding herself on the front. She's got the supports on the stage here from Charlotte Colclough and Ben Hill at the moment.
650 metres to the line, uphill it goes again, 3%. And those riders who aren't as strong in the sprint just trying to hang on here.
Bjarhead is almost trying to draw this one out. Can she try and open a gap when Lou Bates can just sit and wait patiently? They're biding their time, they're waiting, and at the moment waiting for that gap to start to open up.
Godby then waiting in the wheel as we get the 400 metres to go now. Can she be the queen of the virtual cycling world? Around the corner we come. It's uphill still to the moment. 350 metres turns to 330. More metres tick away as we see a little bit of a downhill here. Off we go, and the finish line is up ahead now. 250 metres to go. It's Bates at the front. It's Bjerre ahead, drifting to the back, but she's going for the power up now. And the feather has also been deployed by the other 2 riders. But look at Bjerre ahead go here as it's Bates who's been at the front, now taken over behind. Bjerre ahead is there. She's got the finish line in sight. 100 metres to go. Bjerre ahead's going to do it for Sweden. She's going to do it for Team Fuego. Bjerre ahead, the power all across the line. It's maximum points for Team Fuego, and Bjerre ahead takes the first win on this historic day here in Singapore.
What a performance from Team Fuego. That was to perfection. The way that Bjarhead and Bates, they connected with each other as teammates. First and third, and this is the effort that it's taken from Bates. What a performance to try and go long, really put the pressure on the other teams, the other riders, and Fuego are on fire.
They certainly are, Hannah. Perfect teamwork there. Perfect teamwork. We saw it on stage in real life. We saw it in the game. And as well as the power, they played the game to perfection. You could see the power-ups taken, executed to perfection.
It was a tactical masterclass, I have to say. This is what it takes to be a team, a unit, compelling racing. Their strategy was well thought out beforehand. You can see because it was executed perfectly. This wasn't just something where they've decided, I want to try and attack. This was a pre-planned move here.
A pre-planned move then, as we see riders now getting ready for our next race. The men will take on the Eliminator in just a moment's time. That has been a great start.
It really has. Thank you so much, Hannah and Rob, to get things started here in the Eliminator for the women. What a race we saw. Hannah described it as a tactical masterclass. We're going to head down to the stage where our colleague Chad Naylor is, and hopefully we'll be hearing from one of the people that picked up the points. Chad, who have you got for us?
Got Marlene Bjerrehead here from Sweden, Team Fuego, doing an amazing job here, going 1-3 in the women's Eliminator. Marlene, I saw you collapse onto this bike when you got through the finish line. Talk us through the emotions of winning that one.
There's no time to think, you know. Just push it, and my teammates screamed at me, so it was just a push.
How helpful is that to have your teammates cheering you on, having Lou Bates, who set the pace early, plus a live crowd in front of you?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's the first time, so I'm really happy.
Now 1-3, good bag of points, puts you in a great position to take home the trophy later. Do you think the men can back that up?
Yeah, I'm sure they will just smash it.
Well done, Marlene. Great work winning the women's Eliminator. I'm going to get over here. Put your hands together, Singapore, for our winners. Team Fuego, Lou Bates. You are dripping in sweat. You put the pace in that first Eliminator. Attack after attack after attack. Was that the plan?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was pretty hard. All these riders are amazing riders, so we know it's going to be hard to win at all. So yeah, our best tactic was to work as a team. Marlene has an amazing kick, so we wanted to make sure she could use that at the end. So yeah, that was the plan.
How on earth are you going to back this up in about 20 to 30 minutes when you have to be back on the bike competing again?
Well, I guess that's what we train for. A lot of us are quite used to doing back-to-back races and potentially longer races. So yeah, a bit of rest, spin the legs out, watch the guys, yeah, hopefully we'll be ready to put on another show.
We heard them cheering you on, the fellas cheering the girls on at that last one. Time to return the favour?
Absolutely. They might be regretting it.
Well done, Lou. Well, there we go, Anita. Team Fuego off to a fantastic start, got a lot of points.
Thank you so much, Chad, for giving us the reaction there from the riders. Lou probably needs to catch her breath after an incredible performance. Rob, Hannah, can you talk to us about the point you think in that race where Team Fuego in yellow managed to just set the pace there?
I think it was that initial attack from Lou Bates with a few kilometers to go, because that was really the part where riders were starting to feel fatigue. They're really at their limit there. That's where you're at their highest intensity. And the way that Lou Bates was able to exert herself over that climb, open up the lead, and she had 3-4 seconds of an advantage. It meant that her teammate Malin Bjerregaard could sit and wait patiently and force the other teams to do the chasing there, and that really was what set things apart. And you saw within that final kilometre that they were waiting patiently. They weren't getting drawn into trying to go early, knowing just how fast and powerful Jackie Godby is. They really waited until that 200 metre to go marker, waited for the climb up to the Clyde kicker, and it was perfection the way that both of them deployed their power-ups, and in doing so, the gap that Bjerregaard opened up was exceptional.
And Rob, the crowd loved to see it as well. They got involved at multiple points during that race. We worried about whether stage fright could play a role. It definitely didn't here today for Team Fuego.
Nah, nobody was scared in front of the crowd, were they? And there's more to come. As you can see, we've had the first of our 6 events. We just saw, of course, the early league table as well. 10 points difference between bottom and top. Just shows that the next race, race 2, Eliminator men, is going to take roughly 18 minutes or so, we think, for everybody to get around. So the longest of the races that we're going to have today. Yet again, raced in Scotland on the wee-in. We've already seen that climb, then the descent first up.
So looking at how the women did in the Eliminator, we just had a reminder of what the course looks like. The men are about to take their positions to do it as well. What lessons do you think they can take from their female counterparts?
I think for the men, they've seen just how intense, just how tactical that women's race started out. So they'll be really starting to think, well, where can I make my move? How can I save energy? Where can I get some recovery and respite? So I think for the men going into this, they've really learned a lot, and now they're going to have that encouragement from their female counterparts within their team. And as Lou Bay said, they might be regretting the encouragement that they gave them during their race, because I think Bjerregaard and Bates are going to go wild for their teammates Martins and Barnes.
No, I think we all love the encouragement. We hope to see it again, and the crowd as well. They've been fantastic here on the first event of the Olympic events that we've got here. So incredible stuff. We're getting ready to kick off for the men's Eliminator. Rob, Hannah are in position. It looks like our men riders as well. Rob, take away, please.
Off we go. It's Eliminator for the second and final time already this morning. Riders out through the start gate. You can see them lined up and ready to go. Rider highlighted there in the red is Vujasin from Belgium. And as we go through our first opening arch, we're underway. It's Nier who's first through for the United States there. Ben Hill down at the back there in the blue. We're getting going. 13.1 kilometers to go. We've had 300 meters of racing. The power numbers are being put up, and we've seen already that Michal Kaminski's putting in quite a lot of power here. Vujasin's there. It's a bit of catch-up for Ben Hill, but we're all together. Hannah, it's time to go racing.
It certainly is. With Martins just starting to open up a little gap, they'll be able to see now just how they can play this one, because it won't be long. We're already into the lower slopes of the Skjør Summit South. This is a 1 kilometer climb, an average gradient of 3.3%. It doesn't sound too severe, but you start to see some really steep gradients on this climb.
Not always the parkour, it's how it's raced, isn't it, Hannah?
It certainly is. It's that intensity, and if you see multiple riders start to make attacks, wanting to try and break away, that's where the difficulty really comes in on a climb like this.
There's Kjell Power, bottom right hand side of your picture. Just moving up through the group, by the way. The green jersey now going to hit the front on the left-hand side in the virtual world. We can see him in real life, bottom right, just before the shot changes. He's a man who's having a really good 2023, isn't he? 5th at the Esports World Championships this year.
It certainly is, and I think for all of these riders, they've all performed very well in the UCI Esports World Championships. That took place at the end of February. You see Lionel Vyasin, he's been 5th in the UCI Esports World Championships previously. We've got some of the best esports riders in the world, so they've all earned their places through the World Championships. As we start to see the power-ups start to be deployed as the road starts to rise.
And plenty of them. There's a big change in power. The watts are being put through the pedals, but it is Power himself who's struggling. He's got catching up to do behind. We're off towards the first arch. The first elimination is about to take place. It's Power who's struggling to find the power, I'm afraid, right now. He's off the back. He's struggling. Let's see where we get. And it looks as though he has gone. Goodbye, Kel Power. 1 point.
1 point for Team Titans, and whilst they've got 1 point at the moment, you want to try and get the maximum points. So although there's points on the scoreboard at the moment for Team Titans, it's not the position where they'll want to be. Kaminsky just utilising this descent, sitting at the back, and you can see now where he's able to take that recovery. He can freewheel on his IRL bike, on the Watt bike here, whilst his avatar still moves through the peloton.
Well, Power top right, stopping pedalling now. Of course, he's going to stay in the picture because they're descending, as you said. But he has gone. 7 riders remain, 11 kilometres left right now. Ben Hill, right inside. He has won big things on the road in Asia. He's won in Japan, he's won the Tour of Thailand, and in Europe, he's led the Tour of Slovenia. And Slovenia's, anybody who knows road cycling knows, is the top nation in the world at the moment.
It is. It's one of the top-ranked nations in the world, courtesy of their prolific riders. Tadej Pogačar, of course, a 2-time Tour de France winner, Primož Roglič. And so for Ben Hill, having led the Tour of Slovenia, you've led the King of the Mountains classification over there. Hill has got that experience both in esports and on the road. Got that tactical ability.
10.4 kilometres to go. Three minutes, 58 seconds of racing. Lauri at the front from Finland, there's Mertens. We're looking at Barnes here from South Africa. James Barnes, who is from Johannesburg. I gather he lives down in New Zealand nowadays.
He does. He's lived in New Zealand over the last couple of years with his wife, with his whippet. He's a fast rider, is James Barnes. But yeah, hails from South Africa, made the trip over. And Barnes, he's an exceptional esports rider. He's won more Zwift Premier Division races than any other Zwifter in esports. So he really is at the height of his game. He's one of the best. Tactically, again, James Barnes is exceptional. He's got a great turn of speed on him. As you can see, there's the point standings at the moment, courtesy of the first race, the women's race. Team Fuego with 14, Epic with 11, Lava with 7 points. Team Titans, the team in green, with 5 points. They've already lost Kiel Power, so it really is down to his teammate now, Zach Neer, the rider from the USA, to really try and bridge that gap, pick up the big points.
Here we go, everybody's watching Zach Neer. They're around him. Even the rider eliminated, of course, who was Kiel Power. He's on the right-hand side. Neer, remember, green as we look at it on this graphic now. He's drifting to the back. And his team desperately needs something from him. We saw from that last graphic that went up there, they're bottom of the league and trailing.
They are, and they've got the support from the teammates. Kiel Power, he's immediately off his bike to go and support his teammate Nair. Likewise with Vicky Whitelaw. Lisa Hermansen just continuing her warm-up. She wants to be ready for the climb race, which is the final race for the women at the moment. Ben Hill, as we go on to this gravel section, just moving his way up through the pack in the blue jersey. Kaminsky sitting calm and comfortable, and there's Teppo Lorio in the red jersey at the back.
Lorio there, his teammate Vujasen alongside him in the shot we see now. On those Watt bikes, of course, they're the Bridgestone bikes. Everybody on the same equipment, so there's no disparity in any equipment. Of course, everybody's physical nature will change. We had weigh-ins yesterday, measurements. It all contributes to what we see in the power numbers that are put out.
worth noting as well that each rider's account was locked overnight. Once that weigh-in had been done, once the height measurements had all been done, nobody could access their account. So it's all a level playing field, all on the same equipment in the real life as well.
A big effort here from Lario. He needs to catch up because I don't think he'll do it though. Lario's trying to stay involved, but it looks as though he's going to be the next rider to go.
But he's coming back at the moment. Look at the way that he's closing his gap here. He just had the aero power up. He's moving onto the wheel of James Barnes at the moment. And look at this. It looks like the rider, Martin's eye is going to be close.
Laurio goes off the back. He used that power up early, didn't manage to close the gap. It was tense, it was tight for a moment. Goodbye to Laurio, takes 2 points. We have 6 riders and 8.3 kilometers remaining.
But Rob, it just shows the timing of that power-up, just how crucial that is, because if you make a mistake tactically, with these races being so short, there's no room for error. There's no room to correct yourself.
In terms of power-ups, of course, a lot of people will be asking, well, where do they come from? When do they get them? How does that happen?
Each time that the riders go through an archway, so you just saw one there over the top of that climb, they'll pick up a power-up. It's an option of 2 power-ups. It comes at random. It's a 50-50 chance. So we saw there Lario deploying the aero power-up. That makes you more aerodynamic for 15 seconds. The other option is the feather power-up. That's the green little icon that comes above the riders' heads in the avatar. That makes you 10% lighter for 30 seconds. So it really comes down tactically of when you want to use your power-up. I mean, for the aero power-up, really you want to try and keep it for those where it's a fast sprint, or you want to try and get yourself back into the group, as did Teppo Lario.
This is a very, very fast race. Halfway through almost already now. 7.3 kilometers to go. About to turn round, head back down into the city. And remember, we saw earlier on today the races in Glasgow. It's not the flattest of cities, is it? There's a couple of hills. The nasty Clyde kicker.
The difference of this course is it's short, sharp climbs. And it's really that intensity that can really do the damage. You can never really get into a rhythm, as Vyarsin wants to try and break things up here. I spoke to him yesterday and he said he wants to try and go long. He doesn't want to wait and take the faster riders, the likes of James Barnes, to the finish line. If he can try and do some damage, that's what he wants to try and do.
He has a 0.4 second advantage right now. A really experienced rider on the bike in real life and in esports. He's a former Zwift Academy's finalist. That's where the top esports talents compete for pro road contracts. He's been up there in the top 5 and a further 6th place in the worlds. This is a man who can ride a bike, whether it be on the road or in the virtual road.
And he's one of those riders, Rob, that is able to really go to his depths. He's really able to find something special even when you're already at that 100%. You can see the vital statistics here. His heart rate at 175 beats per minute, keeping a really nice cadence, keeping around that 79, 80 revs per minute, and you can just see the power output there. 312 watts.
Under a little bit of pressure to stay in on our next elimination at least, isn't he? Because he's the only rider in the red jersey of Team Lava remaining. He's moving to the front here again as we go up towards our next elimination point that is coming up in just a moment or two. Power-ups being taken, as you can see, they're executing those moments to sprint from the group and not be the last rider across the line. It is that last rider who will go. At the minute, it's Barnes, who's just losing the wheel, but he's going to come around the rider there in green, who's Nair. Nair's in a little bit of trouble here. His power-ups warm off. He's got to make one effort to get through the arch if he can. I don't think he can, though.
It's head down. It's giving everything to the line at the moment, but Nair just found himself in difficulty. He's been eliminated.
Nair goes goodbye, but look at what it cost the likes of Hill and Kaminsky on the right-hand side. The pain faces in real life, not like the smiles we see on the game. So here we go. 3 points then for Nair. That will go to the team Titans total. We'll take them to 8. Downhill we go now. 5 riders remaining. Fair moment of calm in this race.
You've got to try and find your moment just to reset, keep your calm, keep that focus, not get too distracted also on what your opponents are doing. Really focus on your effort, keep that cool, keep that calm, focus on the plan that you made coming into this with your teammates.
Well, we know that fun is fast, don't we, on Zwift? And that is what's happening here. This is not one long 200-kilometre race like we'll see at the Tour de France next week. This is a race with a finish line every kilometre or two.
It's short, intense. You see high powers. You see there Michael Kaminski just trying to move himself back on, upwards of 700 watts there. But you can see dramatically just how much the heart rate has dropped there, Rob, after that descent. So this is a moment of cool, of calm, get that heart rate down. One thing that we can't see on the right-hand side on the riders is the fans that are on the floor to keep them as cool as possible, because as we know, once you start to get your core body temperature high, that's when it really starts to affect your performance. Keep your body cool as well with the fans.
One thing that's unique today, I've just seen a conversation between Michał Kaminski there, who's just up the pace, and his teammate Ben Hill. They were talking tactics, we're seeing how that might react to the move now from Vujasin, who's on the right-hand side. We talked about this before. A lot of the time people are at home, they're remote. Today we're all together, you can see each other, you can talk to your teammates. This makes it a different event altogether.
Yeah, normally when you're at home racing with your esports team, you'll be using a communication method with headphones in your ear to be able to communicate with your teammates. Here, we're in one arena, we're in one place. It means that they can talk to each other. They're only a few meters away. I've also just seen that Tepolorio going over to Lionel Vujasin, just giving him an update of what the other riders look like, what they're doing, what effort are they starting to make.
And Vujasin has put in a couple of different moves that have been brought back. Remember, Hill and Kaminski there, the Aussie and the Pole at the back in the blue. Barnes from South Africa, Martens from Germany, Vujasin is the Belgian of Croatian extraction. Here he is at the front, red jersey on. He's the only man who doesn't have a teammate here. As you've seen, both riders from the green team from Titans, not really living up to their names so far. They're out, they're sitting down, they're watching on. 3.5 kilometres to go, one more elimination before we get to the final sprint.
We're heading towards that short, sharp, punchy climb of the Clyde kicker. I mean, it's in the name, it's what it suggests. This is where we see the big gradient start to form, and Mark Madden's just getting himself ready alongside Vujasin, just in the yellow jerseys on the left-hand side of the road, and this is where Martens goes.
Martens making his move. He's a state hill climb champion back in Germany. He knows everything about going uphill. He looks strong here, but can he hold on? He's putting his own teammate in trouble, but look at Vujasin go. He's desperately pedaling for that arch, and despite starting the move, it's bad news for Team Fuego. Martens putting his own teammate in trouble, and only just surviving himself. It's Barnes who's out.
Barnes is out at the moment, and it means that they've lost that one rider. He goes away with the 4 points. The next elimination will come at that champion sprint. That'll be the final elimination on the road. But you can see there, the teammate of James Barnes, Martens, really put his teammate into that difficulty and eliminating his teammate.
Ben Hill continuing to go and push on here as we see Martens still in the race, but off the back. Oh, no. How's this happened? He's 4 to 5 seconds back, and in this game, on this course, before we get to the next elimination, he's struggling here.
And the gap grows to 7 seconds. We're upwards towards 8 seconds. This is going to be mightily difficult for Martin Madens to try and close the gap to Kaminski, who's in front of him. And Ben Hill, whilst all this is being going on, he leads by 2.5 seconds.
It's a clever move from the team in blue, Epic, with an epic tactical play, and Martin's now 11.5 seconds back. What a tactical own goal. I mean, if you're going to make a move like that, you've got to have the legs to back it up.
You have to have the legs. You've also got to have that power, the intensity to sustain the power, and Martin's perhaps a big tactical error, but as I said, this is short, sharp racing, no margin for correction.
The Team Fuego women did the job, their men for now failing to back it up, and Martins needs an absolute miracle. He is now 9 seconds off the third place rider. I think we can safely say he's going to be the next rider to be eliminated now.
There's no coming back from this. Once you start to get to 23 seconds, it's all over for Team Fuego. They need to reset and move on to the next race.
But with 1.4 kilometers to go as Hill goes through that elimination arch, he now has 11.7 seconds on Vujasin. And look at Michał Kaminski. What a tactical job he's doing. He's sitting on the wheel, he's waiting. If he comes to the front, he can maybe even slow it up a little here.
He can. The man from Warsaw in Poland is playing that ultimate team role that we saw earlier on in the women's race. He's able to just sit on the wheel of Vujasin here, not help, not contribute. The gap continues to open up, Rob. 15 seconds, heading towards 16.
Look at that, we heard the bagpipes in the background there. They might want to start playing We Are the Champions in a minute, because Hill is riding away to victory. On the right-hand side, this is a victory final 800 metres. He has an 18-second lead over his teammate Kaminski, over Vujasin. The celebration to start in a punch of the air from Hill. We knew he wins races all over Asia. He's adding Singapore to his list right here.
A man who came back from a terrible crash 5 years ago. The rehabilitation of his injuries took some time, but he's come back stronger. And this is the Ben Hill that we knew. This is an incredible performance from the Australian.
And he has got a great chance here to put his team into the overall lead as well, because Fuego picked up as many points already that they're going to pick up in this race. There's going to be big points here for Hill, and I wonder if Kaminski can get beyond Vujasin to make it a 1-2. First of all, it's 250 metres. Ben Hill, the man from down under, still putting out 560 watts here, and he knows he's already won. It's a victory ride up the hill. Finally, we see the finish arch. The River Clyde and its bridge in the background. Crossing the bridge to glory, though, is Ben Hill. Victory for Hill, victory for Team Epic. Top points for them, and now we wait to see if they can make it a 1-2. Because behind you've got Kaminski, his teammate, who's still pedaling. You have Vujasin, who's there as well. Kaminski just behind him. Vujasin trying to salvage what he can for Team Lava, who are going to finish in third place after our first round of 3 today. But look at this now, the move is about to be made. Power-ups are taken. Vujasin still has the power, though. Kaminski's giving it his all, he can't get around, and look at Vujasin go! Pedaling away, denying the 1-2. Kaminski, third place, his team into the lead. Sensational stop from Ben Hill, the winner. And Team Epic Hannah, who go into the lead.
Exceptional performance there from the team in blue, Team Epic. But it was really interesting to see the power-ups going head-to-head. Vujasin and Kaminski there. Kaminski with the aero power-up, Vujasin with the feather. Just shows that it was played into the favour of Vujasin with his power, with his prowess on that steep uphill climb up the Clyde kicker.
What drama there we just saw, Hannah and Rob. The first 2 eliminators have not disappointed. I'm hoping that we'll be able to head to the stage right now where our friend Chad is with the winner of the men's eliminator.
A pair of Aussies catching up after this one. Ben, my goodness me, putting the other fellas to the sword. 30 seconds, where'd you pull that from?
Well, the gap blew out at the end when I had a teammate in the chase group, and it just made my job easy because they were looking at each other. When the teammate's sitting on, the gap can blow out like that.
We're at a 1-3 for Team Fuego. You guys fought back with a 1-3 in this race, going to make it very close from here on points.
Yeah, we're really happy. I honestly thought our women's team was the stronger side of the team, so it's really happy the men could step up and get a win.
Can you back it up in the sprint?
We'll see. It's a bit more tactical with the intermediate there, so we'll look at the point situation, have a bit of a debrief, and see what we do.
Great work, mate. That was an amazing ride. Put your hands together, Singapore. Ben Hill with the big effort in the men's eliminator. I'm going to run over and have a quick catch up with Team Lava, Lionel Vujasin. He's one of the real characters of the Zwift world. He put in quite the effort having that fight with the second place ride right at the end. Lionel, great effort. We'll swing around and get a quick word with you. Talk us through that end battle.
Yeah, nothing I can do. If I chase Ben, Michał is going to cut me at the end, so I prefer to save second place for the team than risking to be third. So yeah, it's a team event, so you have to think for the team first. So yeah, a bit disappointed, but we go on.
You're used to cycling at home, surrounded by your amazing variety of pets, and so we're looking forward to seeing how this is going to go a bit later on in the sprint. Congratulations. Good feeling down here at the moment. They need to recover though, Anita, because there's not long to go until the next one.
Much, Chad. I'm sure Lionel will hope we can bring one of his pets over for the next event. What a show we saw there from the men's eliminator. Here are the results as they stand from the men's eliminator. So Ben Hill, we heard the Aussie, he picked up all 8 points. Then, of course, Lionel, one of the big characters of our men's teams here, 7 points. And you see the rest of the results there as well. Turning to you, Rob and Hannah. Was that a surprise, that end?
We've seen 2 different races there, haven't we, on the same parkour. Just shows that esports cycling can throw up every scenario possible. This is how it's happened with the points. Really close between Epic and Fuego, but we saw a close race in the first race, a big gap, 20 seconds there at the end. We're going up to shorter races now, and with Titans down here at the bottom of the meter, they need to sprint quickly.
Right, so here's a reminder of the race schedule. We've now finished the eliminator for both the women and the men. Coming up is the sprint. Hannah, we've got the course map up showing to our spectators at home. What can we expect from this course?
Yeah, we're on to the Glasgow Crit Circuit, and this is a point-style format. So we'll have the intermediate sprint, a bonus sprint, have you like, at the Clyde Kicker. 3 points available for only 1 rider to cross the finish line. It's a short one. It tells it in the name, doesn't it? The sprint. 3.2 kilometers, only 34 meters of elevation. And the scoring at the finish line, 5 points for first, 3 points for the second place, and only 1 point for third. If you come fourth, there's no points available, so crucial to try and pick up points in this one, and especially for Titans if they want to try and close that gap.
Speaking of Titans, what do they need to do differently going into this second race?
Ride quickly. Less tactical here as well. I think more about power on the line. There's an opportunity to maybe score in the middle, as Hannah was saying as well, but they're going to have to lay it all on the line. It's short, sharp and fast, this one.
Right, so they've got to lay it all on the line. They've got less than 20 seconds to go for the sprint. Hannah and Rob, I believe you're in position to take over for us. We're getting ready for the sprint, the women's sprint, taking off the 3rd race of 6. Please take over, Rob and Hannah.
Well, the old Glasgow shipbuilding cranes in the background there. We're ready to go. We're off in the city centre. It's 3.2 kilometres this one. Nowhere near as much climbing. Big crowd in the arena here, big crowd on the road. We're downtown now, Hannah.
We certainly are, and this is into a thrilling circuit here in Glasgow. Godby at the back, just to take you through the riders here. Jackie Godby of Epic in the blue. Marley Bjarhed, the Swedish rider of Fuego in the yellow. Just on the right-hand side there. Lam Kong, the double Hong Kong national champion in the red for Lava. You can just see her sitting in 3rd wheel at the moment. And Vicky Whitelaw, the former road professional in the green, the rider from Australia.
So 3 kilometres to go already, and a top pace being put out. The power numbers are good, the effort and pain faces are on. Lam at the top right hand side, Godby bottom right as we look, of course wearing red and blue in both the virtual and physical worlds. Bjarhed there, left hand side, just moving to the front of the group. And in the green, it's Whitelaw, who's just behind. Around the corner they come, racing for a minute. And the pace is being picked up. It's like watching a criterion, this.
It is, and this is where you really need to train your ability to recover from the previous effort that we had in the Eliminator. So it's all about that physical ability, working on your peak power on a race like this, because it's high wattage that is needed. We know that Godby has that raw power from her rowing days, the triathlon.
Bjarhed now moving to the front. There she is. It's Godby who sits at the front. Remember, this is an event. This is a sport that's gone from strength to strength. We know it's fun. Everybody can do it. You can get on Zwift, ride with your mates around the world. You can be on one continent, they can be on another. It'll be a different time of day.
You can, and this is an opportunity for riders on Zwift to be able to ride with their friends, their family, who live on in different parts of the world. And not only that, you see former and current Olympic champions using Zwift, the likes of Sir Chris Hoy, one of the most decorated Olympians in the UK. And so this is a platform for everybody. It doesn't matter at what level you race at. Also, Jason Osborne, the inaugural Esports world champion, a silver medalist in the Olympic Games in Rio.
Jason Osborne, now a professional road cyclist after he's come through esports. I mean, what's he going to do next? 3 different sports, boss them all. Who's going to boss it on the road here? We've had our opening kilometre and a half or so of looking around at each other. The pace is picking up. We're going up to the first arch and our intermediate sprint that's coming up. There are points here on the road.
You can see Bjarhead starting to wind things up in the yellow jersey, and you see Lam Kong wants to try and go early, but here goes Whitelaw with the feather power up, and on a wheel there is Bjarhead.
There is Lam giving absolutely everything. Yu Yasan is going, and Lam's going to come around. Lam's there, and look at this. She's going to do it for Hong Kong. Lam with the points at the intermediate sprint. Rapid.
Wow. Timed that one to perfection. And you just saw the effort that Lam Kong was able to put in there, the encouragement from her teammates. 3 points in the bag for Team Lava. They were the crucial points they needed.
And they needed them. They needed them. So from the intermediate sprint, we now change our attention. There's a problem for Jackie Godby, though. She's trailing. She's almost 6 seconds behind here. A big effort. Hannah, can she recover in time for the final sprint? Because she's got to chase back. She's got to get on. She'll have to sprint again, and there's only 1.2 kilometers to go.
It's an effort that she needs to make now or never, because as you see, the gap starts to open up to 7 seconds. She'll be hoping that this trio out front will be looking at each other. They'll be waiting for the other rider to make that move, and you can see she starts to claw back a little bit of time, 6.5 seconds. If it goes in this direction, it plays into the hands of the big sprinter from the USA.
A look around, a watch on. Is this the moment that Vicky Whitelaw can do the business? The Aussies pedaling away in the green. Bjarhead from Sweden is there for Team Fuego. Remember, they want to get right back up to the top.
And look at the teamwork with Vicky Whitelaw there of Team Titan. She's got Zach Nair and Kiel Power all surrounding her. She's, by the looks of things, she's going to tell them when she wants them to deploy the power up so that she can be full in the drops. She can be at full power.
Here we go.
And
here we go. Look at Godby. Look at Godby. How she made her way back on here. They were all looking around. They were waiting. She snuck back up into the slipstream, but is there now enough energy with 350 meters to go to win the sprint?
This is the all-important question. Can Godby recover? And she starts to wind things up at the front at the moment, and Godby starts to unleash. She's upwards of 700 watts at the moment into the sprint.
This is a huge, huge power output for Jackie Godby. If she wins this from the back, it will be the performance of the day. But she's overtaken. Lam's going again, looking for sprint 2 out of 2. She's cheered on across the line, and Lam has it. She's done the double. That is quite the magnificent performance. Hong Kong flying high. Team Lava seeing that eruption. They have done it. They have the points. They have dominated the women's sprint.
Tactical masterclass, physical masterclass. Lam Kong, what a performance. That was exceptional. That was a really, really impressive performance from Lam Kong.
Well, we'll wait to get the classified results there, but it looked as though Lam still at the top when we saw the graphic, but it was a really good effort there from Whitelaw to try and get around in the slipstream.
It was. And you saw she was trying to use that draft, but Lam Kong used Jackie Godby to perfection there.
Great, well thanks very much Rob and Hannah. What a performance from Lam Kong and Team Lava. They managed to turn things around, and I believe Chad is down there with Lam.
I am, Anita, and she's totally exhausted. We saw the exertion from you in the Eliminator. You embodied the Olympic spirit, fighting back to win in the sprint. Did you use that as motivation, what happened earlier?
Yes, I love my teammates' effort. They help me a lot and just encourage me a lot. I need to fight for them. Yeah.
You said you have the best team when I walked up to you a moment ago. Talk us through the encouragement. What were they yelling at you?
We actually met one week before, and they will support each other, and we talk about the strategy before the race, and they help a lot.
Well done, Lam. That was an excellent ride. Congratulations to the rider from Hong Kong. That was so big on the effort scale. I'm going to get over to Vicky Whitelaw and get a quick word over here as well. I haven't been over to this side of the stage. Vicky, so close. You're right there. A big ride from Lam Kong at the end. You're back on the bike, keeping warm. This team needs some points right now.
We do, but we've got two more races, three more races, and we're the comeback kings and queens. Yeah.
It's not over till it's over. How tight was that sprint, and how much of a tactical fight was that?
Oh, look, we're racing against the top of the world, so this sprint is highly contested. yeah.
All right, best of luck for the next couple of races. Still in this one.
Very much, Chad. So we've got to make something very clear there. Our team had to go to a photo finish. Rob, can you talk us through what that meant in terms of who actually won the race?
They've had another look. They have had another look. The game rendering ever so slightly in delay that we saw that. It was so close. They had to look at it closely. But I'm afraid there is disappointment in the end on that picture for Team Lava because Lamindi was not the winner. I gather the winner has come from somewhere else.
Yep, she has, and I believe it was Team Fuego, Marlene. So congratulations to Team Fuego, picking up maximum points there from the sprint. But we do have to talk about Lam there because in that eliminator, she didn't have the best of times there, but managed to turn it around, picking up the bonus points in that sprint and then finishing second overall.
I think that shows the mental strength of Lam Kong. She didn't have the best of races in that opening race in the eliminator, but she was able to come back, reset, forget about the performance in race 1, and come into the sprint, take the 3 points at the intermediate sprint, at that bonus sprint on the Clyde kicker, and then still come through and perform well at the finish line. And I think that's a full credit to Lam Kong.
We just saw the results a moment ago. It is really tight up there. Team Fuego took the lead thanks to Marlene getting all the points, the top points there. Here's the race schedule. So we've just seen the sprint women's winner coming from Team Fuego. We're getting ready for the sprint for the men's. I asked you after the eliminator, what lessons could the men take from the women's eliminator? Looking at what we've just seen in the sprint, what lessons will the men take this time?
Don't celebrate too early, perhaps. We know that it's a photo finish. I gather, I'm hearing they had to look at it several times, not just the once, but several times to confirm that Bjerrehead was the winner. 3.2 kilometers again, same race coming up, but of course, we know how close it is, and we might just hold our fire to see exactly who will do it, because we've got some really powerful riders here.
We're talking about the Olympic Esports Week. You mentioned photo finish. That is the level of technical stuff we've got going on here in order to get a winner here. There's so much on the line. We said it's an historic event. These riders are putting everything into it to be the inaugural winners of the Olympic Esports final when it comes to cycling.
Look, Anita, we're talking about 16 of the best esports riders in the world. They are at the top of their game. It's always going to come so close on the line. It's going to come down to the wire, and they all come in with some fantastic form as well. They've peaked for this one. This is a huge moment. So we're not talking about riders who perhaps aren't finding their form. They're in a big training phase. This is these 16 riders coming in with the best form that they've ever had in their lifetime. It's always going to come down so close at the finish.
It really will. So we're getting ready for the men's sprint. It will be coming in just a moment. Rob, just a few words from you with the men getting ready for this. You said they shouldn't celebrate too soon. Do you think there's anything else that they'll be thinking about going into this race?
Now, this is about pure speed, isn't it? We saw that twice. I mean, if you lose contact, maybe you can make a tactical error, be off the pace. We saw that from Godby, who really made it difficult for herself, didn't she, Hannah? I guess having to play catch up.
She did, and I think, again, it shows just the mental tenacity of Jackie Godby, seeing herself 7 seconds in arrears of the 3 riders up the road, being able to get herself back on and open that sprint up to try and go for the victory. It all comes down to that physical ability, but also the mental strength.
Well, the women's sprint was truly entertaining. We are going to be throwing over to the men in just one moment. Of course, at the bottom of the table is the green team, the Team Titans. They're really going to have to work hard to try and pull back some points before we go into that final race of the day. A lot of pressure on Team Titans. We'll, of course, be keeping you across, and Chad will give us immediate reaction at the end of it. So over to the men. Rob and Hannah are in position to take us through the men's sprint.
Back to the virtual world. The sprint. Men's edition. Same course, same drill, pure power required. And off we go. There's Barnes in the yellow from South Africa. Up against Kiel Power. He's there in the green. Ben Hill is back in action again, wearing the blue jersey. And they're 3 of the 4 riders you can see on the screen. Fastish start.
say fastest start, to give you some insight as to how fast these riders are going. 54 kilometers per hour, and this is just the beginning, Rob.
Teppo Laurio, the other rider in this race, he's wearing the red. We've got the distance to go up. We've got the preamble out the way now. 3 kilometers to go. Same drill, as I said. Intermediate sprint, remember, at the top of the hill. It's an interesting one, that intermediate sprint, isn't it? Because it isn't just a sprint, it's an uphill sprint. How does that change things?
It's an uphill sprint, but it's also whether you want to use all of your resources, your energy, to try and make sure that you secure those 3 points. If you come second and you still make such a concerted effort, it's a real waste of time. It's a waste of energy there. So you've got to be really focused and stick to the strategy that you've planned coming into this race with your teammates. Because if you start to go onto a different path, a different road, you don't make a full commitment to that intermediate sprint. It's just throwing away the watts, throwing away. If you can imagine, you start with a glass of water. Every time that you use an effort, every time that you sprint, you're tipping out a little bit of water of your cup. And once you get to the end of the race, if you've used too much of that power, you finish with an empty cup, and you don't have what it takes to be able to sprint against your rivals.
And everybody knows everybody else's metrics, the data, it's up on screen. That is something different than what we're going to see at the Tour de France next week.
It certainly is, Rob, it certainly is. And I think this is the real unique prospect of Zwift and esports, that you do have this data available. These riders know exactly how riders like to race. We have others. James Barnes is one rider who likes to change his tactic all the time. He always likes to keep his opponents on their toes, never let them know, sort of keep it predictable. He's a really unpredictable rider.
There he's in the yellow. He should know because he's a veteran of over 400 races on the Zwift platform. He's got the record for the most Zwift Premier Division races in a single year. He was again in the top 10 at the World Championships. Takes a drink.
Takes a drink on his avatar, but in real life he's starting to sprint and open things up early. He's a prolific winner in the Zwift Premier Division, and at the moment, with the cheering from Miali and Bjerhead, he opens up with an aero power-up. He's going to collect the 3 points. He's had no challenge at the moment. 3 points to Team Fuego.
Ben Hill just off the back again, 2 seconds behind, should make it back on, but Team Fuego are on fire, and it's James Barnes who takes those intermediate sprint points. And the first blood drawn in this very, very quick men's sprint race. 1.4 Ks to go. Times and points up there. Team Fuego are leading going into the final 2 events, but it could all change again as Hill flies through the group, flies past them, continues his effort. He's taken a flyer.
He's taken a flyer, and at the moment 12.6 watts per kilogram. We're touching on 900 watts, and just look at that monster gear that he's churning on the watt bike. He's keeping a nice cadence on his avatar in the game. He goes into that aero tuck, takes some respite, takes some recovery, rounds the right-hand turn, and look at the power from Hill.
This is going to take some effort if he will hold it to the finale. Can they work together behind to catch him? It's a 2.1 second gap. It's growing. It's 2.3 seconds now. 650 meters to the line, and they are struggling to catch him. It's 3 seconds of a delay. 3.7 still goes. There's a power-up used, 500 meters. He did it in the race early on today. He's doing it again here.
And he only continues to build his lead. 6 seconds he's reaching at the moment. And for Ben Hill, he wants to try and go back-to-back, 2 from 2 at the moment. Godby on his right-hand side. There's Kaminsky with full cheering on his left-hand side, and this is going to hurt now.
Put those photo finish cameras away. Not needed for this one. Ben Hill with an 8-second lead, 100 meters to go. The challenge here is for second place from Power, who's doing that, but celebrating across the line for the second time today. Mr. Prolific, Mr. Esports this morning, Ben Hill, the star of the show.
An incredible performance from Hill there. The way that he's able to take this on, go early, take everyone by surprise, the power that he's able to sustain. He's doing the damage, he's destroying his opponents.
Well, Team Epic yet again taking the victory. We saw Fuego there at the intermediate sprint. Epic around them. What a fight this is for the title.
It really is shaping up into such an interesting fight for the title. Chad, I believe, is with the man who picked up all the points. His fellow Aussie. Are you there, Chad?
I am. I've actually ducked down one step because I wanted to get a quick word off Jackie Godby for the sole reason that she was going completely bonkers at the end of that race. You were in charge of encouraging your teammates along. I think you did a pretty good job. This team still in a very good position.
Thank you. I mean, I think this really speaks to the joy of doing this in person. You know, normally I'm in my basement, and here I get to be with the epic Zwifter. He has earned the name Epic now. He defines our team, and it's fun to get excited. So I want all of you in the audience, get as excited with me. We're here, we're in person, and we're having fun.
Legend, Jackie. That's exactly why I got her, because I thought she was going to be like that. Well done, Ben. I'm going to come over and get a quick word with James Barnes, South African, did a nice job there as well. Let's come on down the steps. James, good ride, picked up some bonus points. Fuego are taking this deep here at the Olympic Esports Week.
I think it's clear, you can see the effort on everybody's faces. Everybody has done a huge amount of work to get to this point, and everybody's laying it down on the line, and hopefully everybody's enjoying and seeing, you know, the hard work that everybody has to put in to do it. We're the best 16 to be here, and it's just an amazing experience to be a part of this.
We are now into the climbs, just 2 races to go. How much would you love to lift that epic trophy behind you?
It's a childhood dream. It's as simple as that, you know. I think you can see we've all given it our best, and it's the best shot that we have, and you know, you can't regret it because we've all given our best.
Well done, James. Anita, things are really heating up down here.
Yeah, thank you so much for the instant reaction from some of our riders there, Chad. So here are the final times and the results from the men's sprint. It is really shaping up as we go into the final 2 races. Rob, I think you want to say something from what we're seeing.
Just look at that. This is a sprint race. 10 seconds of a victory in a sprint race. That's where we should have been having another photo finish. But moving on to the climb, this is where you might expect a 10-second gap.
It is. And that's an incredible performance from Hill. But this is the distance, 2.7 kilometers on the climb. We're on the City and Skur climb, and the riders will know this. They will have practiced. You come out of the gate, you make that right-hand turn, the sweeping left over the Clyde River, and then this is where the climb starts. So it's going to be a difficult one. We've got our first riders. Within there is Charlotte Colclough, Lou Bates, Alice Lethbridge, and Lisa Hermanson, all taking on and ready for the climb.
So this is the first Olympic Esports Series final of the next few days. We heard James just saying that it would be a dream to win it. So much on the line. They're putting their all out there.
They certainly are, and as I said in commentary, 400 Zwift races at least. He's obviously used to competing alone, he's competed in teams as well, and we've got plenty to talk about in terms of teams, because we're coming to the finale. I think we're going to see the points and where we stand in a moment's time, and it's a good idea to have a look at it, because we're just 1 event left, 2, if you count it as men's and women's races. Look at that. James Barnes' teams is in the lead.
Well, that dream could be coming very true for him in just a couple of races. 2 points between Team Fuego in yellow and Team Epic in the blue. Team Lava, 7 points to Drift at the second, and then Team Titans as well. We spoke about them going into that sprint. It is tough for them, but they have been putting their all out there. These are the 16 best, so incredible effort from all our teams so far.
A fantastic effort, yes. However, in Team Titans, I'm afraid, right at the bottom there. They need a miracle here. Otherwise, I think we're ringing whichever company manufactures wooden spoons in Singapore to come quickly.
Yes, and of course, we will be awarding the top 3. So imagine 4 teams here. To miss out on something on these inaugural Olympic Esports Week would just be so painful.
Within the climb, the first rider across and the winner of the climb will take 8 points. In second, you'll have the 5 points. In third, you'll take away 3 points. And only 1 point for the rider who crosses the line in fourth. So it's all going to change across these 2 races. The final races here for the women and the men, the climb.
Well, Hannah, thank you so much for setting us up there with the summary of the points on offer. Rob, Hannah, I'll throw it over to you for the first of our 2 climbs with the women.
We're looking at the top of the mountain as we pan back down into the city. It's not long in terms of distance, this. It's 2.7 kilometres leaving Glasgow, going up to Skur, the top of the hill. But 63 metres to climb, Hannah. We know how you go about riding. You've got to be first over the line to take all the points. But 3 races back to back. Hydration, fueling, recovery, how have they been dealing with this?
It's incredibly important to make sure that you're keeping yourself well fueled, well hydrated, especially when you're doing static cycling. You're moving, you're not having the wind blow through your face and through your hair. So important to make sure you're keeping on top of your hydration, making sure that your fan in front of you is on its maximum capacity. Keep that core body temperature as cool as possible, but keep that focus. And look at Lisa Hermansen in the green, in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen there. The focus, the poise. She really wants to try and add some points here for Titans.
All about the power to rate ratio, this race, isn't it?
It is, and it's important that for those riders who are lighter, of course their power to weight could be slightly higher, but this is all about, again, not going too early. You can almost bring yourself into a false sense of opening up too early, and you can do some catastrophic damage to yourself if you get it mightily wrong.
Physically, everybody has their limit. They will know which numbers in terms of watts and heart rate where they're putting themselves in trouble. They will roughly know, these athletes, that on a good day, how long they can continue the efforts for. They have to use that knowledge. They also have to use the power-ups and the help they get in the game.
If you take a look at Lou Bates, for example, this race I would estimate is going to be around 5 minutes long, maybe just touching under 5 minutes. She's able to sustain 330 watts for 5 minutes as we go onto the Sker Summit North, onto the gravel. Alice Lethbridge starting to open up.
Making a move, and you can see the power numbers going up. You can see there's a little gap now between the bikes as well. Her Bridgestone bike, she's pedaling here in the real world on a Watt bike on the stage. And behind, though, as you said, she did go with that early move, perhaps a little early, because Bates has come around her now. Lethbridge has to sit in if she can and try and recover. But all of the climbing is back-loaded on this parkour. All comes now in the final kilometre and a bit. And already, just like that, after 2.5 minutes of racing, we're heading into the final kilometre now.
You could see that Lethbridge was thinking about trying to make a move, or perhaps just testing her opponent. Will they react? Will they start to open up? And then she could follow the wheels. She can use the draft of the other riders. At this climb, it's 1.6 kilometres in total. We're 600 metres into the climb with an average gradient of 3.7%, but we see maximum gradients, Rob, of 8.3. That's where the road really starts to ramp and rise.
Change in pace means you can't really get into a rhythm either. The resistance changes on those pedals beneath you.
It does, and this is for some riders where their attributes, their physical attributes, they like to get themselves into a rhythm on a climb. Lou Bates, for example, she really thrives on these short, punchy climbs. It's something that she's trained for, and for her birthday last year, of her local climb, she did 40 reps.
How many?
40 reps of a 50-second climb. It's short, sharp gradients, and this is going to suit the rider from Great Britain.
And she's there at the front, the rider from Nottingham, who came to esports and cycling, rowing and triathlon all together. She's out at the front. Behind her is Lethbridge in the red, her compatriot. Hermansen on the other side. The other Brit in the race, in the green, Cole. And here we go. Time to move, time to go, pedaling away, finish line up ahead. Up the hill all the way to the line. That's the aim of the game here. Points are on offer and a big chance with Bates now opening up the road. 300 metres to the line. She has to keep it going here. The numbers are big, Hannah.
The numbers are big, and you can see over 500 watts the output for Lou Bates with gritted teeth at the moment. She starts to open her advantage 4 seconds to Lethbridge at the moment. And at the moment, can they respond with 137 metres to go?
7% the gradient. It's ramping all the way up to the line. Ever so slight chance of a bit of a rest now. Round the corner she comes, and she can even celebrate. A 5-second margin of victory. Hands in the air for Lou Bates, who win it. Fuego take the lead. Second to Cole, it seems, as well. That is some ride from Lou Bates. You had her down as the favourite, and she pulled it off.
She did. And when you've got that pressure on your shoulders as coming into a race as the favourite, but being able to execute that, incredibly difficult. But Bates took it all in her stride. She worked to her abilities as a rider. She utilised her experience, her physical attributes. And as I said, that kind of climb is the bread and butter for Bates.
Rob, Hannah, all I can think about are James's words saying that it's a dream if he could win this. Lou has got him one step closer to that dream. And of course, our good friend Chad is with the winner. Chad, what you got for us?
Anita, Lou's just whipped the headband off. Job done. You can finally start to enjoy yourself now. How much focus, how much training went into those few minutes just there?
A lot of training, but I think that applies to all of us. You know, everyone's put so much work into preparing for this event. We've just been so excited about it. And yeah, it's been awesome so far.
Time to get behind Martin now, who's going to bring this team home. Is it starting to get a little closer now? Can you just about taste the victory here?
I don't think we've got it sewn up yet. There are too many good athletes in this arena. But yeah, Martin, it's all on you now.
All right, well done to Team Fuego. I'm going to quickly duck over here and see if I can get Charlotte Colclough as well, who was second in that big climb. And riders from Great Britain doing a great job here. I might just ask her about that. Zwift in Great Britain, how much time do you spend on it? Why is this so big for you back home?
Oh, a lot of time. I've been doing it for the last couple of years, and I just love the fact it fits into your life so easily. I can jump on after work and get a good session in, and made so many friends as well, which has been fantastic to meet them all here as well. So, super excited to be here. And a little out of breath.
Yeah, a little out of breath, I'll say. And how about to be able to introduce a sport that you love and a game that you love to a whole new audience?
It's fantastic. It's such an amazing experience. It feels quite surreal, and yeah, fantastic for everyone to share how much we love Zwift.
Well done. Well, one race to go, and Anita, the girls have put it all on the line. Now it's the attention to the men's race.
Yep, the attention will be turning to the men's race in just a moment, but here are the final results from the women's climber. As we mentioned, Lou Bates getting maximum points there. That was her time. Charlotte Colclough coming in second. And then, of course, it was our Lava team in third, and then Titans in fourth. And here's the overall points as it stands. Rob, 5 points between Team Fuego and Team Epic. What do you think it's going to go down to in the men's climb?
In terms of the mathematics, you said 5 points between them. This is the last event coming up of the sixth, the men's climb you mentioned. 8 points goes to the winner. 5 points to second place, 3 points to third, and a single measly point for the last rider over the line. So, do your quick maths if you can. Never been my strong point, so we might have to have a little conversation after the finish. Let's see. This is what they're taking on. We've just seen it, but 8 points, first or second, does the job certainly, doesn't it, for Martin Martins? Even a third place, realistically, does the job as well. So as long as Team Fuego are not last, they should be the winners.
They should be, but you did say there was quite a few permutations there when it comes to the mathematics. Hannah, how do you see it going into this final race between Team Fuego and, of course, Team Epic?
I think between Team Fuego, they can't rest on their laurels now. They need to keep that focus. They can't go in already taking that celebration and knowing just how strong they have been and consistent they have been. They're going to have really strong opposition from Michael Kaminsky, the rider in the blue jersey there from Team Epic. And it's not over until it's over, until there's 0 kilometers of racing to go. They've got to fight all the way until the finish line.
Well, both those two teams fighting it out to be the inaugural winners of the Olympic Esports event in cycling have got just under 3 minutes to prepare for it. Rob, if you were some of the women on their team who will be standing by, what would you be saying to them?
Follow what we've just done. I know it's very simple. Listen, no, Lou, talking serious tactics, Team Fuego, they're perfectly set up for this particular event. If you look back to the history of the riders, Lou Bates, who's just done what she did, Hannah knows her very well. Hannah knows her abilities. Hannah knows that she's a former national hill climb champion. And if you look to Martin Mertens, who's now going to take it on for Fuego, back home in Germany, he has been a state hill climb champion. And what are we taking on, Hannah?
Well, we're taking on a climb. This is the perfect ability. This is the perfect race for Martin Mertens. And I think with his short, explosive capabilities, as he's getting the last little chats with James Barnes, his teammate, and I think having seen the performance from Lou Bates, that's incredibly motivating. And we've seen that they've become one unit, the team in yellow there, Team Fuego. They've got that trust, they've got that confidence within each other. And I really think, Rob, that's shining through here.
It is, but let me just sow a seed of doubt, because we know this is sport, this is entertainment. We know that anything can happen in this first ever event. Just imagine if he's not eaten or drunk properly this morning. Just imagine if those legs suddenly fail him. We don't wish it upon anybody, but there's still a job to do. He can't just turn up here and ride around. Mathematically, it is not assured, and to be assured, they definitely need to finish in the first two.
And one thing Team Epic have, the team in blue, is Jackie Godby. Wow, what a cheerleader she has been. She got the crowd pumping earlier. I believe she'll be there right in the ear of her man in blue, who will be taking on that final race to try and give them a chance of winning this inaugural event when it comes to the Olympic Esports finals in cycling. We are getting so close to the final race. We would have seen 6 races in just a few moments. So much on the line here. It has been so exciting, and we couldn't have expected a better start.
We couldn't, but this is crunch time now, Anita. This is what it's all culminated to this final race here, the climb for the men. Kaminsky will be taking it on for Team Epic. Martin Mertens there in the yellow, Lionel Vyarsin in the red for Team Lava, and Zach Nair in the green for Team Titans. This is what it's all coming down to.
16 of the best riders started here today to hopefully make history. They've already made history coming here in the inaugural Olympic Esports Series. Team Epic and Team Fuego will be going head-to-head to hopefully get their hands on the first title this year for cycling in the Olympic Esports. Rob Hanna, please take it away for our final race of the day.
The culmination of an historic morning in Singapore. 4 riders, 1 goal. To lift that final trophy, our first ever Olympic Esports Week trophy. They're there, they're on the screen, they're racing, they're riding. We know it's going to be short, we know it's a big effort. Martins, the man we're all watching in the yellow, his team in the lead. Team Fuego with Kaminsky there in the blue. Team Epic, Vuyasin riding for Team Lava. And also in there, Zach Nair, the American, he's in the green for his team, the Titans. They're bottom of the table at the moment. They can't win here.
They can't win, but one thing that they can do is really create some excitement in this. They've got nothing to lose, so don't be surprised if Zach Nair tries to go for a long one, tries to break his opponents in this race, and even if he can come away with a race victory at the top of the climb on Sker Summit. This is a real fantastic moment for the rider from the USA.
Zach Nair, a sports fanatic, played soccer before he got a few nasty knee injuries, then came into Zwift, got into cycling in his teenage years. He downloaded Zwift for the first time in March 2020, but look at where he's come. He's here at this Olympic Esports Week. He's a 2-time Premier League winner in Zwift, a top 10 finisher in the Worlds. As you say, he could be the party pooper today.
He could be, but this is what we've seen, the evolution of esports over the last 3, 4, 5 years. And for these riders, they've spent hours and hours and hours racing, training on this platform to make sure that they are the very best in the world.
1.7 kilometers to go. We know it's a build up to the climb this. The climb's not far from beginning. They're going to go across the water here, onto the cobbles briefly. They'll be happier when they get onto this road now. Starts with a little bit of gravel. Climb starts properly now. Road starts to go uphill. 2%, 3%. It will ramp up even more to a maximum 8%. That gradient indicator starts to change colour. It's getting harder, Hannah.
It is. We go from 3% to 4% at the moment. And Lionel Vyarsin leading his way up this climb. The other riders on this part of the course able to benefit from that draft, follow the wheels, save that energy at the moment. It's all about a game of patience, precision. It's short and sharp, but there's no room for error here. You can't make any mistakes, and especially when it's so close at the top of the standings.
Vuyasin from the cycling mad nation of Belgium. There he is at the front in the red. Mertens, as I mentioned, State Hill climb champion back home in Germany. He's putting out 6.2 watts per kilo at the minute. They're big numbers. Here he is on the screen, being talked along by his big helpers. Lou Bates is there to provide her own advice. Vuyasin looking around. There is Zach Nair, top right of our picture, into the final kilometre. And things will start to really build up now. 3 minutes, 15 seconds of racing under this arch. And again, the gradient kicks up. 800 meters to go. Vujasin is starting to go, and steepest part in the course here.
Steepest part on the course, and Kaminski just accelerating to try and close that gap to Nair there. He follows Martins, and this is a real tactical play here because Kaminski doesn't want to lose sight of Martins in the yellow jersey. You can just see he's glued to the back wheel of the rider in yellow. Side by side, gap starts to open up, and Vujasin takes advantage of the fact that the two riders from Epic and Fuego are following each other.
And they're following each other because there's 5 difference in the final general classification for the teams to take the trophy. And Martins here's at the back. Remember what I said at the start, the only thing he couldn't really afford to do was to finish last. Let's see how it goes, because this now is Vujasin. Nair is coming to the front. Kaminski could do with getting himself a place further up to keep the dream alive for his team.
It's 0.3 of a second from Martins to Kaminski at the moment, and Kaminski has made his way back through, but can Martins respond? Because this is all sorts of pain, and he's got the cheer from Bates at the moment.
They need to lay it all right in the line. There's Zach Nair going for the finish. You can see now Vujasin as well as the bike wobbles beneath him. Nair down into 3rd place. Martins where he needs to be for now. Kaminski's up in 2nd, but it's Vujasin who's there. Vujasin who will take the victory, and behind it, it's a bit of a photo finish to see who will finish 2nd or 3rd. It's close. We're going to have to wait for those final results, Hannah. But victory in this race goes to Vujasin. But it's a tense, tight wait to see what will happen in terms of the team. There's a trophy up for grabs here. I said it's an historic day. It is the perfect ending, a perfect finale for Vujasin and for you fans, wherever you're watching around the world, because we're doing those sums right now, Anita.
We definitely are, Rob, and we had to turn to a photo finish earlier. It's happening once again. All the drama in the final race. Can you believe it? The climb for the men has meant that we've had to go to a photo finish. So stay tuned. We will be bringing you the winner of the inaugural Olympic Esports final when it comes to cycling. Zwift have delivered here. We've had the drama. We've had all the energy from the riders. These are the 16 best riders when it comes to virtual cycling. They haven't disappointed whatsoever.
This is why we love sport, isn't it? Nothing's ever certain in sport. It provides the excitement. Anything can change in the last little moments there. And it's just provided some real thrill across all 6 races today. And as Rob said before, normally we'd be seeing a photo finish in the sprint, but it's the climb where we're starting to take a look at who has got the big points, who has come out on top.
Right, so Hannah, sorry to cut you off. We have got the results in. So Lionel did pick up all points from there, but look at that, Rob. Who came in 2nd?
2nd place to Martin Mertens, and by my calculations, that means that victory at the inaugural Cycling Esports Week 2023 goes to Team Fuego. Look at that, 45 points, place 38. 2nd place with an epic performance of their own for the team of the same name. Team Lava, close, and they complete the podium on 33 points. But it's a disappointing trip to the wooden spoon factory for Team Titans, I'm afraid. The winners, Team Fuego.
Yep, and let's head to the winners there because Chad is on stage for us.
What a clutch performance, Martin Martins. Everybody has rushed you down here. Congratulations. The first medals and the first trophies here are going to Team Fuego. Congratulations.
Thank you. Just insane. Insane. Did not believe that when I came here that we're going to achieve it, but all the teammates, they were so great. Everyone put in that extra little bit of percent to get this title.
We heard James Barnes, your teammate, say this has been a dream since he was a kid. You're about to win the top prize at an Olympics event. That is very real.
Yeah, I haven't dreamed. I have dreamed of it. I haven't thought I would have that chance at some point, and now it's just real.
Congratulations, mate. We'll be having a trophy presentation soon, and we'll be hearing from the winners a bit more later, mate. Well done.
Thanks.
Chad, we just heard there from Martin Martins, who was dubbed the favourite going into this, we've got to say. Rob, you spoke about his extensive experience when it comes to doing climbs in real life. He managed to bring all that talent and expertise to the virtual world here today.
He did, but I think he probably left it a little closer than he might have liked. We had to go to a photo finish for the second place there. You could see on the graphic that we had, the league table, the final league table, it was close. It just proves that the level was so high here. Now, Zwift is a tool that connects everybody socially. We can all go and ride, you know, we all go home after this, wherever country we're living in, we'll ride together. Not a problem. To compete, you can do the same. However, the level at the very top is certainly not social riding, is it? We saw that today.
We really did, and I think anyone tuning in has probably bought into the Olympic esports cycling side of things, because it was drama from start to finish. We started with the eliminator. We'll get some highlights for you in a moment. We didn't know how things would shape up. Team Epic looked like they were going to take the lead, and then of course Team Fuego managed to put their mark on things, and they kept that pressure right until the end. And then Lionel and his team were going to throw a spanner in the works there.
They certainly were, and I think what we've seen here is the skill involved to race on Zwift. It's those tactics and the strategy that each of the teams have come into each of the races. They've stuck to their plan, their strategy, and the way they've executed it has been incredible. But it's that physical ability of all of these riders that has really shone through here.
Okay, well, Rob, Hannah, I believe that the trophy presentation is about to take place. You are watching the inaugural Olympic Esports Series, of course, for cycling. Our riders were all participating in Zwift, and now it's time for them to be awarded with their rightful awards. Here is your trophy presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for what has been an incredible finals for cycling as we begin our trophy presentation. Please show your appreciation once again for the players. And please welcome IOC member David Lebatillon, who will be giving out the trophies. In third place, let's give it up for Team Lava! Well done. Thank you very much, Team Lava, ladies and gentlemen. And now, in second place, let's give it up for Team Epic. Once again, congratulations to second place, Team Epic. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for your winner for the Olympic Esports Series 2023 cycling category, Team Fuego! Thank you very much, Mr. David Lebatillon, for presenting the trophies. And let's get Team Fuego to lift the trophy in 3, 2, 1, Team Fuego!
There as Team Fuego celebrates first place.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is only the beginning. We've got more exciting virtual sports coming your way.
So congratulations to Marlene, James, Lou and Martin. They are the first place winners of the first event at the Olympic Esports Series. As I said, incredible scenes. They said it was a dream. The dream's come true.
It certainly has, and I think they've proved that they're the most all-round team. Hannah, you had to be able to do all different kinds of things. We have different riders who all performed to their best of their abilities.
They had that well-rounded ability. They had the two riders for the sprint, the two for the climb, and I think it's that experience that really shone through. Let's not forget, James Barnes. He's won the most Premier Division races out of any Zwifter in the history of the sport. So I think the experience, the physical ability of all of these riders has shone through, and I think you can really start to see that camaraderie between them all.
Yep, you said camaraderie there, a well-rounded team, but for a lot of them it was the first time they actually met today. You wouldn't believe it, but let's just have a quick reminder of how we got to this point and seeing Team Fuego take the first place. So here are some highlights from the first event of the Olympic E-Series event. So we started off here, guys. Talk us through some of the moments that we saw today.
Well, we've seen everything, haven't we? We saw the longer race early on, up the hill, down the dale, back into town. That was a more tactical affair, I thought, Hannah. And then we saw the sprint options as well. You could see everybody racing. This is going right back to the start of the morning. Martin was there in action again as well. They were looking at each other. Then we look back towards this final event, the hill climb as well. And the delight there for Vujasen, and it was important for him to win a race because he's a great character as well.
He's a brilliant character, isn't he? But he's not just a great character and a great personality. Again, he's one of the long-standing riders within esports, and he's been a prolific winner himself. So I think for him, you know, well-deserved. He's been a real pioneer of the esports too.
Real pioneer. As I said before, I think Zwift and Olympic Esports cycling have got some new fans after what we saw today. We couldn't have predicted how it was going to end, but a huge congratulations to Team Fuego, who took first place. Right, so it has been an eventful first event here at the Olympic E-Series. How do we put into words what we've seen? Team Fuego taking first place, but there were so many twists and turns.
A unique morning, a unique build up to this, of course. We were wondering what we were going to see. What we did see was entertainment, personality and athletic prowess all blended into one.
I think we'll almost run out of superlatives to describe just how special today was. We had it all. We had the drama, we had compelling racing, we really saw the teams unite, you saw that encouragement. But what I think we've seen is a sport in its own right, its own discipline within cycling. I think it's found its place here, and I think it's provided entertainment for those here in the arena, for those at home. And I think when you see what happened out on the course today, I think it's been brilliant. I think it's been really exciting and thrilling.
Exciting and thrilling are definitely ways to describe it. Our man who has been giving us immediate reaction, Chad, is with Team Fuego on the stage right now. Chad, tell us how they're feeling right now.
Let's find out. I mean, they are pretty excited, I can tell you that much. I'll start with Martin, who brought home that last leg of this amazing team. You stood there, you've got your trophy. What was that whole celebration like?
Just unbelievable. It felt so great. I can't find words for that. It's just pure joy.
Lou, the training, we talked about how much hard work you've been putting in. All worth it to stand there and be crowned as an Olympic Esports Series champion?
Oh my gosh, totally worth it. Totally worth the pain. I think everyone pushed themselves so much harder than normal. When you've got your teammates next to you, literally screaming in your ear, you just go so much deeper. So yeah, I think we really worked hard for this. So yeah, just amazing.
Well done. Marlene, what a great first stint you put in. Got a great start for this team. Talk us through the day.
I have no words, actually. I mean, I'm just so happy to be here, and it's been amazing and so hard, and everyone's here have put a lot of efforts in. So,
well done. And James, last of all, to be the first winner means you can be the first to go party now.
Yeah, but also it's like everybody, the hard work everybody's put in. You know, the ladies set us up so well, and then everybody cheering on each other. But even when you look at the camaraderie between the teams as well, it's just unbelievable to see the support that everybody, you know, pushed each other to the limits to put on and show everybody what Zwift is to the world and what it means for us as an esport. You know, but to walk away with the trophy, it's just a dream come true.
Well done to Team Fuego, your 4 riders winning the very first of the trophies here at the Olympic Esports Week. What a way to kick off this amazing ceremony here this week. It's going to be a big 3 days in Singapore.
There, it really is. Thank you so much, Chad, for the reaction there on the stage with Team Fuego. You heard James there talking about the women set them up so well. It really was a team effort to get them over the line and get that first place.
Everybody working, playing to their strengths. Again, I, like anybody, came here this morning wondering what to expect, wondering how people would perform, and mostly how that interaction between them would go, given the fact that they're together on stage. And that was the thing that most impressed me, the standing next to each other, the tactical words of advice.
It's a proud moment from all of them, and I think in a comparison what we can say is you see the Tour de France, you see one rider who is the champion of the Tour de France, you saw riders there, it's individuals, but you come collectively as a team. It's all about that teamwork, and Team Fuego were the epitome of that.
Right, so we just heard from Team Fuego on the stage there as they claimed first place. Just yesterday, the Olympic Esports Week kicked off on that very stage, and here are some highlights from the opening ceremony.
2, 1. Welcome to Singapore.
Our warmest welcome from Singapore, and thank you for joining us at the opening ceremony of the inaugural Olympic Esports Week. It is my pleasure to welcome each and every one from every corner of the world.
Baseball, motorsport, cycling. Tennis. Scene.